Hello YouTube, it's your girl Kimberly. Thank you so much for coming to my channel. This is the first installment, with many to come, of my new video series called 3 ounces or less. And the point of this series is basically for me to talk about the different trips that I go on, because I love to travel, and to show you guys some videos, some pictures, and just to talk about where I went and what you guys should do if you're interested in going there. So I have done a few travel videos in the past, and mostly my travel escapades have been tracked through blogs that are on KimberlyGamble.com, the travel page. I'll add that below. And I was just like, okay, yes, people like to read travel blogs, but also I want to watch the video. I want to hear the sounds, and that way also you can favorite the video, and when you get ready to go there, you can just watch and see the things. I'm gonna have links in the description box below, and also names of places, so that way you can kind of get an idea of what you want to do, where you want to go. So I have my phone here with my handy dandy notes, so let's get started. So as you guys know, so I went to St. Thomas and St. John's for a week. I stayed at St. Thomas, and then I took the ferry to St. John's, like for a day trip, to go to the different beaches and stuff that were there. So I'm going to talk to you guys about my experience, things that I think you should know, and honestly, I think it's a great place and I think you should visit. One of the benefits of the U.S. Virgin Islands is that if you are an American citizen, you can, it's easier in terms of paperwork and what you need to bring to visit there compared to the other Caribbean islands. So that is a benefit for us, those of us who are from the U.S. But if you're not from the U.S., it's still a beautiful, amazing place to visit. In the past, well, not in the past, also coming in the future, cruise ships, it's like a big docking place for them, and a lot of cruise ships come there. And in the, of course, now it's like paused temporarily, but soon I'm sure that's going to ramp back up, and that's going to be a big thing also. So if you are looking into cruises, that will be some place that you could visit in the future. Okay, so on to my trip. So that's also why I have this wonderful tan. So, you know, thank you, St. Thomas, for this tan. The first place, well, I guess I'll start from the beginning. When you are booking your flights, there are no like late night kind of flights. It's very hard to find them. Everything is like leaving in the morning, or it's leaving lunchtime, and that's pretty much it. You're going to be very hard pressed to find a overnight or like a late night, like leave at 8, land at midnight kind of situation, because it's about a 3-hour flight. So definitely prepare to either leave on a day where you're also taking that day, or you're just gonna head down earlier. I'm not a morning person, so I think my flight took off at 8 something, so it was like, it was hard getting up, but I made it work. But yeah, so smooth flight. Definitely search around, see what you can find, so that way you can get a deal. Book 54 days out on a Tuesday. Apparently that's when you get the lowest rate, but I don't know how real that is now that the world has changed. And so that was that. The airport is very much basic, I'm gonna say, and the amenities that you may be accustomed to at your local airport, it probably doesn't have. So I would say, I'm gonna come back to this at the end too, but I would definitely say don't make any plans saying like, well, I could do something at the airport, because there's not that many stores, there's not that many restaurants or things. So don't plan to be like, I could do something at the airport. That's not a good plan. So all right, let's get into the thing. So where did I stay? I stayed at a hotel called the Bunker Hill Hotel. It is a privately owned, black owned hotel. It's very quaint, very much giving the Caribbean vibes. And they had free breakfast, and the breakfast was amazing. It was very economical compared to like other places you could stay on the island. And me and my crew, we definitely had a good time there. They have AC. Trying to think other things. There's a pool. There's 2 pools, but there was one pool that we just decided like, okay, we like this pool, so that's why I'm like, there's a pool, but there's really 2 pools. But yeah, so it's super cool to go there. And that's where we stayed. Definitely I will leave the link below so you guys can check them out and look at them. see what they have going on. The thing that I also liked about the place is that although we didn't end up going there, the hotel also has a deli, and there's like a roti place next door that I'll talk about later that we ended up going there. And it's very close to the main street and the center part of town, so we were able to walk to a lot of places compared to if we would have stayed someplace else. So it's a really great location, and I love that. And everybody knew where it was. Like, as soon as we brought it up and saying we were staying there, people knew. People were like, okay, like, yeah, I've been there, I heard about that. A lot of people stay there. We even, on one of our tours, like, other people from the same hotel were there. So Bunker Hill Hotel, that is where we stayed at next. Okay, so there is kind of this weird cultural schism where there's some places that are like real authentic Caribbean, and then there's other places that are very much Americanized, westernized, and for the like American tourists. So not that that is a bad thing, but if I wanted to eat burgers and fries, like, I could eat burgers and fries at home. And so we were really on the hunt to be like, what can we find, you know? So hold on, I'm trying to find this document. Oh, this is annoying. But hold on, I'm gonna find the document and I'm gonna come back because I want to be on point with this. All right, so I'm back. So basically, like I left off saying, some places have like the more Caribbean authentic like kind of feel, and the other places are very westernized. And when you go and you're like, oh, so what's the like an example of restaurants and bars is what I'm about to get into next. Well, mostly restaurants. And it's like, oh, well, where should we go to eat? And it's like, oh, go to this place. And they're like, what's really good there? And they're like, the chicken wings and the french fries. And I'm just like, what? I kind of want the authentic food and the real culture. But I do know that when the United States takes over a place, a part of it is like assimilation, destruction of native culture, and then we kind of just insert pizza and fries and burgers here. So I'm going to talk about some places. So the Greenhouse restaurant, everybody, if on the island, from our cab drivers to people in stores, when the hotel, whenever we asked people where to go, everyone was like, Greenhouse restaurant is the best. Greenhouse restaurant, Greenhouse restaurant. We went outside, there was a line, people are waiting. The hostess was so nice and super sweet, amazing. So then of course we go to sit down and we're looking at the menu. Well, now everybody has like the scan your phone, look at the menu situation. Mostly American kind of foods. And one thing that we kind of noticed even before our food came and we ate is people were getting up and like leaving the restaurant after they finished eating, and they were covering their plates with napkins and it was still filled with food. So we were like, oh, no one's eating the things they're ordering, and this is supposed to be the quote-unquote best restaurant. What's going on? So even when we asked our waitress like what was the best food, she told us a salad. Like, she said the salad was good, and we were asking about drinks, and she wasn't. It's like this is a milkshake, but this is also a milkshake, but it doesn't have no milk in it. And there was like definitely a barrier with the waitress trying to communicate effectively what tastes delicious, and that was kind of like a red flag for us. Like, red flag. She can't easily, because most restaurants you ask what's good, they could just rattle off like, I like the wings, I like the burgers, what are you into, what kind of meat you like? And that was not the vibe she was giving at all. So then that was like a red flag. And then also, like I said, we saw a lot of people leaving, covering their plates with napkins and just walking out. So of course the food was not that good, and the fact that everybody kept recommending it was really sad. So it was just okay. And there are more restaurants that I think are better. So as soon as people are like, oh, Greenhouse, like, take that with a grain of salt, and don't feel like you have to go there, because it's good, but it's good enough, but it's not good. So I'm gonna leave that at that. What did I get? I got I don't even remember what I got because it wasn't memorable. Anyway, let me stop. I got a side salad. The side salad was really good. Oh, I got the prime rib, and the prime rib was okay, but it was like the special of the day, so it was okay. It was really fatty, but the parts that I was able to eat were good. Okay, but like I said, Greenhouse, do not believe the hype. If you have a local like fancy diner by your house, it's going to be the same equivalent. Next is Mims Seaside Restaurant. So you have to one night go to Mims Seaside Restaurant. In our crew that went, we did have someone who had a fish allergy. They were able to eat. They didn't get sick. There was no problem. So definitely, just because it says seafood in the name, don't be worried that like, oh, well, someone in our group can't eat fish, we can't go. Yes, you can go. Very clean, very nice. Has a beautiful view of the water while you're sitting and eating. They have different specials for different nights, and everybody's food was good. Somebody got pasta, somebody got steak. I got the lobster. What is it? The coconut curry lobster, I think it was called. So delicious. Everything was good. Another restaurant, so I'm just gonna go through all the restaurants in this little section, which is funny. It's by the airport, so it's called the New Ashley Restaurant, I think is the name of it. And basically, when you get to the airport, there's not really any food options. Like, there's one place called the Havana Cafe. They have like sandwiches and cookies and like ice cream sandwiches and stuff like that. But if you want like one last real meal before you get on this plane and deal with the crazy airport life, you want to go to Ashley. So they make patés, which are good. They have like curry goat, stewed chicken, have all these different options. They also have a bar. So if you want to get your one last meal before you get on the plane, and if you want like a really solid meal and not just like airport knickknacks, check out the New Ashley Restaurant. So a whole area of the St. Thomas is called Red Hook. It's like a neighborhood, and basically, well, not a neighborhood where people leave, but it's like a district. There you go. That's what I want to call it. It's a district. And in Red Hook, they basically have all these restaurants and bars, and there's stores and a bank and like stuff like that. So also in Red Hook is the ferry, is one of the locations where you could take the ferry to go to St. John. And whenever you're saying to people who are not from the Virgin Islands that you want to go out, you want to have like a little nightlife, where should you go? They send you to Red Hook. Red Hook is basically top 40 college bar vibes. So it's like, you're not gonna hear hip-hop, you're not gonna hear necessarily like maybe the music you're used to, but definitely top 40 vibes, very much for the American Western kind of consumer. Not anything, no soca, no dance hall. It's very much like Z100 kind of music, if you're from New York, you know what I'm talking about. But it's very much top 40. And more restaurants that kind of turn into bars as it gets later. Some of them are strictly bars, but it's not even a lot of places anyway when you go down there. So we went to a place down there called the Caribbean Saloon. The Caribbean Saloon was a restaurant that was very much so not Caribbean. Not only were there no brown people working there or the hostess or anybody, so it definitely didn't seem Caribbean because they only had white people working there. And the meals weren't Caribbean. It had like a wood theme, so like there was like all the tables were wood and the bar was wood and everything was wood. And it was very old kind of looking, very dark. And the menu was like any typical American restaurant, not really anything specifically to make you think like Caribbean themed. So I'm sorry, scam, but not anything to make you think Caribbean themed. And it was just like very much, the name didn't go, like when you think Caribbean Saloon, you're thinking like some water seaside bar with like spicy foods and like different Caribbean dishes from like all over the Caribbean, and that's just not it at all. It's more old-timey saloon than it is anything Caribbean. So the food was okay. basically the whole, I guess the restaurant worker shortage is also happening in US Virgin Islands. So every place had a long wait. You weren't doing anything within every place had you waiting at least 30 minutes. So that was just, it is what it is, and we just had to wait and do our thing unless you made reservations, which I don't know if you could at that place, but it was okay. We ate the food, but it wasn't anything like special or feeling like you have to go there. So what my advice would be is to maybe go to Red Hook like your first night and kind of see the sights, see what's going on, and experience it. But if your plan is like, we're gonna go to Red Hook every night and turn up and have fun, then that's not gonna happen, because it's not that kind of place. It's more of like a chill bar, eat your appetizers and relax vibe. Definitely not that kind of fun. Next, what am I going to talk about? Any more restaurants? So that is all for St. Thomas in terms of restaurants and where I stayed, the hotel. Next, I will talk about an activity that I did. So with Fury Charters, we took a boat ride with, it was like a group of people. You bought a ticket. It was a boat ride where you then went swimming with the sea turtles and fish, and you got to see the coral reef. Super, super cool. I was personally terrified. I don't know how to swim, so I just assumed that, okay, I'm just ride the boat, and then when I get there, my friends, they swim, so they're gonna jump in the ocean and everything. And then they would like, I got in the boat and they're like, no, all these people don't know how to swim. They're getting in the water too. Here's some pool noodles, and here's they called it a sea view. It was like a clear, it was like a floaty, but it had like a clear plastic in the middle, and then you could like hold it down in the water and I could see everything. But not only was I able to see a sea turtle under the water, a sea turtle was swimming around us and hopped out of the water for some breath and then came back down. So that was super cool. I've only seen sea turtles like on TV and the internet, so I had no idea what they looked like in real life. So seeing it, like the scale of it and the size of it and kind of how they move in real life, was so cool. I was also able to see something called sturgeon fish. They had little fish that looked like dory. They were all swimming around us. And then of course the coral reef was so beautiful and so cool to see. So I'm really glad that I did not let my fear get in the way of me having that experience. So shout out to Captain Mike and Nikki. They run the boat. It is a great experience. There is 2 times that you could go. There's like a morning time at like 8 something, and then there's like an afternoon time at like 1 something. Of course we opted for the afternoon option because, you know, to be there at 8, you know how that goes. That's hard. So loved the boat ride. It was a great experience. Oh, I forgot to say, the boat is open bar, so there's like rum punch, there's drinks. After, they do take you on a tour to like go see the certain animals and the reef while you're in the water, and then they give you like 45 minutes to just do your own thing in the water. Like I said, although I wasn't scared and I felt secure with, I had the pool noodles, I had like a vest so that way if they needed to pull me out they could. And what else did I have? And if I wanted, I could have had like the goggles and the mouthpiece, but I was like, I'm clearly not trying to put my head into the water. But yeah, so I ended up having a really good time. It was really fun, and it was definitely one of the highlights of our trip. So shout out to Fury Charters, and again, link in the description box below. So who's next? Nuvo Lounge. So we went out. Basically, we were so lucky to have a cab driver who was able to take us to all these different clubs that we thought were going to be popping, and they weren't. Granted, we traveled during the week, so a lot of the clubs and parties and stuff that would normally happen on the weekend were not happening. So I guess one of the things, like, in New York, we're spoiled. You could literally go to the club every day of the week if you really are about that life. But the island's not really like that, and if you go during the week, there are less parties, it's less popping, and it's just not really that much going on. So I would definitely say, if you haven't scheduled your trip yet, or like you're researching in advance, make sure you are there for a weekend. There's a lot of parties on Saturdays and Fridays, and they'll even, like at our hotel, at Bunker Hill Hotel, they had like the flyers in the lobby, so that way you could kind of talk to the front desk people about where it's located, how you're going to get there, and kind of making your plan, which was really helpful. So yeah, definitely make sure you go over a weekend. That way you'll have that part, yeah, that real party part. But we still were able to go to the club. So there's a place called Nuvo Lounge, and basically they have hookah, they have drinks, they have hip hop DJ. The DJ played everything: hip hop, soca, dance hall, old school R&B. Not old school R&B, but like 90s, like real love. You know that set that the DJs do, and have the old aunties like me going up. And it was just a really good vibe. The waitresses were so nice. Everybody was super chill. The people in there, everyone was having fun. They have food in there in the club apparently, and you know the food was popping because halfway during the party the police came through to get their food. But it was so much fun. We had such a good time. So shout out to Nuvo Lounge. They also have a lot of different like parties and stuff there, so if you go on the weekend, like I said, it'll be more popping. But in terms of during the week, we were still able to go and have a good time. So Nuvo Lounge, check them out. And then lastly, another restaurant is Ideal Roti. So they're located on like the same street as Bunker Hill Hotel, so we were able to go there, grab a roti, and then we went to the park to go eat. I'll put the name of the park in the description box, I forgot. But we went to the park to go eat, and it was really nice. We had a good time. So the food was delicious. I personally love rotis, and I mean, I have them here, but the ones there really had a lot of flavor. We had rotis. My sister, she had a regular lunch plate, and she said the food was good. So they have really good food. And Ideal Roti, you definitely want to check them out. They also take card, which is super convenient. A lot of places take card, but you still need to have cash though. Especially you know what you really need to have cash for? The safaris. So basically, if you visited Asia before, specifically Thailand, they have like these little vans called tuk-tuks. And it is basically like a pickup truck that is retrofitted to have like seats in the back. And then you like tell the guy who's driving where you want to go, you hop on the back, and then he drives all the places. When you hop off, you give him the money. So they have something similar in US Virgin Islands and St. Thomas, and it's called, well, they have it in St. John also, but it's called a safari is how they refer to them. And basically you can go anywhere you need to go for $1 to $2, and it's so affordable. The only issue is that the safaris stop at 6:45. And I'm not sure if that's just because we're in a Panda Express or if that's how it always is, but they stop at 6:45, and after that time everything becomes a taxi, and then the prices you have to negotiate. When we first landed, everybody knows like one common drama that always happens is that first taxi from the airport, you end up paying mad money. So well, not mad money, but you pay the most money compared to all your other cab rides. So we paid $10 each, and it was a van with multiple people. So it was, I would say it was probably like 8 to 10 people in the van, and we paid $10 each. Now I've heard different rumors and other people's anecdotes. Some people saying that for the late afternoon flights they paid as much as $150 to go to their airport. That's a lot of money. I would definitely say to call the hotel in advance and ask them about how far they are from the airport and what it costs, and night prices increase and all this stuff, because you don't want to be stuck at the airport, but you also don't want to spend an arm and a leg to get to your hotel. Unfortunately, there's no Uber or Lyft or any e-hails there, so you are kind of at the mercy of working with these cab drivers, but definitely try to negotiate. If you're sitting someplace and there's other people there trying to go to the same place, make them a part of your group too, and then you guys try to negotiate with the bigger group so that way you could get a lower price. But definitely negotiate when it comes to the taxis after 6:45. But in the morning time during the day, take the safaris. I'm pretty sure, I think for kids it's like 50 cents or it's even cheaper, but definitely take the safaris. Do not mess with these cabs during the day unless you have like someone who's going to be your driver, and then they're going to take you everywhere. But other than that, you know, safaris. It looks a little scary at first, but if you're not used to what that might be, but they're super safe. They drive safe. And in St. Thomas, they drive on the left hand side of the road. So if you are trying to figure out where to go, most likely you're going to want to cross over to that left hand side, so that way they could come and pick you up from the stops. But you'll see the stop. It looks like a bus stop, and you'll see other people standing there most likely. Okay, so that is everything at St. Thomas. And like I mentioned before, we went from St. Thomas to St. John. We took the ferry. I wish I knew the name of this bar, but I do not know. But if you take the ferry from St. Thomas to St. John's from the Red Hook ferry terminal, there is an amazing bar in there, and you need to get a drink called a Bushwhacker. It's like a frozen white Russian with amaretto and like cinnamon on top. It tastes so good. It's so cooling and refreshing, and it's so delicious. The only issue is that you can't take drinks on the ferry, so you got to drink it while you're in line. But so good, the Bushwhacker. That's a popular drink throughout the island, so you'll find it other places, but that was like the best one and my favorite, so I just wanted to mention that. But unfortunately, I don't know the name of the bar, but there's only one bar in the terminal, so you're gonna find it. Okay, so going to St. John. St. John, oh, I guess I should continue to talk about some things from St. Thomas. I almost forgot. Coki Point Beach. Now, St. John has multiple beaches, but whenever you ask about what's the best beach, Coki Point Beach is the quote-unquote most lit beach. And the reason why it's the most lit beach is because they play loud music. It's kind of like a fun atmosphere. There's multiple bars and restaurants there where you could get food, you could get drinks, and it's just a lively atmosphere. So if you want like silent on the beach, quiet reading time to relax and just like zen out, Coki Beach is not the place. If you want to have fun, you want to enjoy yourself, you're in your group, have some drinks and some food and kind of relax on the beach, that's going to be more of the speed of Coki Point Beach. The beach is pebbly, so, and it's a steep drop into the water. I mean, like I said, I am not that tall. I'm not that tall, and I was able to, after going out probably like 3 feet, the water was like up to my chest. So if you do have kids, you're gonna want to definitely make sure either they have some floaties or some kind of thing on them, because very close to the water it gets steep and like deep very quickly, so there's not that much area to kind of like frolic where it's like waist height on an adult or like chest height on a small child. So that's just something to put out there. We were able to get chairs. They have umbrella rentals there. And Coki Beach was just a good fun time. We had a good time. Like I said, we were looking to have fun and enjoy ourselves, not really like for a quiet beach. So that is what's one difference between that beach and maybe perhaps other beaches. The sand was cool. It wasn't like dirty or trash or anything. It's a nice beach. But the more beautiful beaches were at St. John's. So St. John's, if you're looking for accommodations, you will see that some of the times it could be a little pricier. So what a lot of people do is stay on St. Thomas and then you take the ferry back and forth to go to St. John's. St. John's, the beaches were picturesque. I'm going to end this video by putting some video and pictures of the St. John beaches, because I mean, I think I took some pictures at the St. Thomas beaches, but the St. John beaches look like postcard, picturesque, white sand, finely milled soft white sand that you walk on it and your feet feel like they're being exfoliated, and it's amazing. The water's so clear, you can see down to your toes and see all the little fishies in the water. But really loved the beaches at St. John. Like, if I go back to the Virgin Islands, I will be making accommodations to, instead of going to St. John just for 1 or 2 days, every day of my trip I'm trying to go to St. John's because the beaches were so beautiful. The 2 main beaches that we went to were, sorry, my phone keeps locking, Maho Bay Beach and Trunk Bay Beach. Now, Maho Bay Beach is known for, if you go early in the morning and you go swimming there, you'll be able to see sea turtles and a lot of fish and stingrays. So a lot of people try to go there first thing in the morning. Trunk Bay Beach was very laid back. It was fun, but it was still very quiet. There's no music playing or anything like that. And there was a bar there, so like if you want to order drinks, if you want to order food, they also had a little restaurant and there was a gift shop. So that was Trunk Bay Beach. So Trunk Bay Beach, and then places that I ate food at on St. John. Okay, Roti King. It's up a steep hill and it's in a parking lot. So at first you're just like, ooh, this random food truck and there's no other food trucks, what's going on? But Roti King is absolutely delicious. That was one of the best meals that we had the whole trip. So if you go to St. John's, you have to go to Roti King. My recommendation would be what was the drink? It was the homemade ginger beer, and then I got a saltfish pate. Life changing. One of the best meals of, like, the whole trip we were chasing food that tasted that good, because it was just amazing. Also, after we went to the beaches, we went to Uncle Joe's Barbacue, another place where the food was phenomenal. Like the best top 10 ribs I had in my top 5 ribs that I've eaten in my whole life. It was so delicious, so good, tender, coming off the bone. I devoured that food. Like, it was so good. So that was St. John's. So St. John's, really beautiful, really picturesque. In terms of traveling on St. John's, they also have the safari. So there's not built up safari stops, but when you're at the beaches, like each beach has like its own little parking lot area and entrance before you get in. And while you're in that, like at the edge of that parking lot is the street, and the safaris pull up into the parking lot. They usually have people on them dropping them off, because you're able to go from like beach to beach to beach, because they're all kind of lined up around like the edge of the island. So people will be getting off the safari most likely at your beach, and then you can get back on the safari and ride it to the next beach and ride it back to going to town and stuff. So St. John's was so beautiful. I love St. John's. I wish, like I said, if I go back, I'm going to St. John's again, because so beautiful, and the beaches are so picturesque looking and amazing. And so that was it for St. John's. The ferries run pretty much a little bit later, but once the sun sets and you can't go to the beach, I mean, there's a few restaurants on St. John's, but if you're not staying there, I mean, you're going to want to get on the ferry and get back, because now, especially if you went to the beach, your bathing suit's wet, your clothes are wet, you got your towel and all this stuff, you're going to want to go home, shower, change, and then perhaps eat in St. John's. So, what else is there? So St. John's, beautiful beaches, amazing food, go to Roti King. So that was pretty much what we did on our trip. In terms of leaving, I want to stress to you, you need to get to the airport 3 hours early if you do not want to miss your flight. It's funny because my friend found the flight and everything for our accommodations, and went out, and in her itinerary it said get to the airport at 3 o'clock because our thing leaves at 6. And I was just like, wow, that's early, but you know what, better safe than sorry. I'll find something to do, duty free, entertain myself in the airport. We land there, and while we're going through the protocol with getting into the country, showing all our documents and stuff, the announcement at the arrivals terminal says, like, thank you for visiting, all this different stuff. When you are getting ready to depart on your departure flight, please arrive to the airport 3 hours early. The announcement said that. So I was like, oh, so you really do have to get here early. And then when we came back, I found out why. The security line is exponentially long. There's very few TSA people, and the TSA people who are there, not only are they checking passengers, but they're also searching checked bags. It's like the same group of people. There was times when people were saying they just stopped the security line and they were just standing there and nobody was being checked. I thankfully, if you haven't seen the video, I'll also include it in the description. I have pre-check and global entry, so I was able to go to the global entry pre-check line, and with that I was able to get through in 30 minutes. But for people who did not have it, there were some people that were literally telling us that they were in the security line for 2 hours just waiting. Like, it's crazy. It's super long and super slow. So please do not. We unfortunately saw a lot of people miss their flights and kind of be stuck and trying to figure out where they're going to stay on the island and stuff like that. So please, please, please get to the airport 3 hours early. They're not joking. It's not a kind suggestion. You really have to get there that early, or else you will miss your flight. Even on our flight was the last flight leaving for the day, and somebody was still trapped in the security line. And we're like, we're the last plane going out. How could people still be in the security line? They were still trying to get through. So it was a mess. There is no duty free currently on the inside of the airport at St. Thomas. So what you have to do is, there's a duty free on the other side. So you go to the arrivals area, go to duty free there, and then you have to put it in your bag and check your bag. So if you're team carry on like I am, there's basically no way to get duty free. So sad face. if you get something that's smaller than 3 ounces, then you could pack it in your carry-on, but there's basically no duty-free shopping. In terms of the food in the terminal, like I said, they have the one Havana Cafe, I think is the name of it, and there's a bar, so you can get drinks, and there's like cookies and sandwiches and stuff like that. Then there's also like a store where they sell like candy bars and t-shirts and stuff like that. But in terms of like the full scale duty free with the perfume and all the liquor and everything like that, it is not there currently. So I really hope that the US steps up that airport, because that was sad. But also it was a struggle to find working outlets. Thank goodness I had a battery pack, but no working outlets in that airport. But St. John was beautiful. St. Thomas was fun. I would definitely suggest that you go there. It's a great country. It's actually funny. Some of the people were rude. So I know that there's a stereotype that like when you visit the Caribbean islands, it's like, oh, welcome to the Caribbean, we're so hospitable and everybody's nice and we want you to have fun and we want you to enjoy being in our country and we're gonna give you great service. That is definitely not the case. There were so many people who were rude, who didn't want to talk to us, who gave us stank attitudes, and we literally just walked up to their counter and I was just so confused. Like, you work in the hospitality industry, you have to at least, you don't have to be overly bubbly nice, but you at least have to be basic respectful. Like, so I would say our experience with that was like 50-50. Like 50% of the people were nice and amazing and super great, and then 50% of the people were tight, they were over it, they were mad, and they felt a way that we came to spend our money at their business. So that was kind of weird. But I assume since this is the American island, they're gonna have a little American swag, which is you gonna get what I have to give, and that's it for today. But like I said, I would say 50% of the people were super cool and nice and gave us amazing service. Alright, so camera freaked out, don't know what that was about, but thank you so much for watching this video. I hope it was helpful. Again, look at the links below, that way you'll be able to see all of the things that I did and the places that I think you should go and check out, and the places that, you know, I said were not that good. You can look into them and see what I mean. Alright, so thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you next time.